Going into halftime tied, going into the second half, could you tell me a little bit about what you think went wrong to start that going in?
We started both halves bad. Just poor execution, not really being locked in on the details of the game plan. Just felt like we gave up way too many easy baskets to start both halves.
Yeah, especially with them being the number one defense in the OVC. Where do you think you succeeded in, especially in that first half, getting the ball in the basket?
Yeah, I thought when we got stops, when we got out in transition, we were able to score. I thought when we moved the ball to the second and third side, we were able to get downhill and get some good looks. But too many times, we're not playing off the catch. We're holding on to the ball, and against a good defensive team like these guys, they're gapped up. They're in the gaps. There's really nowhere to go. So it just comes down to being more consistent with our execution.
It comes similar on the defensive end. They really like to move the ball, like to get you guys in a scramble. What was the game plan there? Especially I saw you guys go into like a switch, into a little bit of...
Yeah, we did. We tried a lot of things. When you get behind, you're trying to do some things, but our double teams, again, like when we did a good job, we were able to steal. They threw the ball out of bounds. But when you're not, then their spacing's really good, and they're getting threes. So again, it comes down to a battle of wills. You know what I mean? And for the most part, we've been pretty good at that. But today we were inconsistent.
Yeah. And I mean, not everything went bad, especially going on that, getting somewhat of a comeback towards the end. Are you feeling optimistic coming for SEMO on Saturday?
Well, we just, again, all the things that we're talking about here, like we've got got one day here, but like just got to be a lot more consistent on both sides of the ball with our execution.
Mostly want to talk about, I definitely want to start with the second half and those first about 13 minutes of that second half. What do you think went wrong, especially to give up such a large run?
Right. Well, we always talk about we have finished half strong and started strong. And we finished first half strong and didn't do the second. I think just mental lapses, and we our plan when we were, with our defense, we didn't execute it like we wanted to. And then we were able to push it a little at the end. I think that was the biggest thing to not. You can go through, Jim. You're good.
Against a team that is such a force on both offense and defense, number one defense in the OVC. Where did you guys try to find success, especially maybe you specifically trying to find the gaps within the defense?
Right, just knowing that they're switching everything. We just try to do offense that would work against it, and I think we had some good shots. Just got to finish them, and I think we can learn from that. And next time when a team has that type of defense, score well. So I think that's the biggest thing learning from it.
Yeah. And then lastly, not all bad, especially like you said, that late run.
Right.
Bring it into within about five, I think. Yeah. So going into SEMO on Saturday, are you feeling optimistic?
Oh yeah, we're positive. We know we gotta just learn from it. At this point in the season, you can't dwell on it. You gotta turn to the next game and battle, and keep praying and hoping win this next one. Is the talk in the locker room. So.
Right. So that opening run in the second half, what do you think went wrong, and how do you think you can kind of mend that in the next game and going forward into the rest of the season?
Really just rotations. We got to know exactly what we're doing. With that team, it's kind of difficult because they like to post up, especially coming from the three-point line. So it's just being in the right spot, talking to mismatches, talking to communication, talking to X-outs, things like that. Things to kind of we preach every day. Mental lapses was a big part of that, and we just can't have those Saturday.
Mm-hmm. And could you walk me through a bit of what the successes were in the first half? You bring into tied against the number one team in the OVC.
Yeah, like I said, pressuring the ball. When we do trap and when we do fire and stuff like that, we come with high hands, making sure we take away that next pass. We know they're turnover prone, so that's one of the things we want to do is just put a lot of pressure on them to make them make tough decisions. And when we did that is when we was able to make our run. Not able to go down and set up a play every time, just being able to go free range.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to, each loss that you guys have had in the OVC, you guys have either been tied at halftime or winning.
Yeah.
So as a point guard, how are you kind of mend your second half woes, especially coming out of the gate?
Just being locked in, man. It's especially with starting that second half, it's literally those first 5 minutes. Usually the team that comes out and jumps on that first 5 minutes is usually the team that's going to win the game. So just being able to weather them storms, and even if we don't come out that first 5 minutes and get to a good start, being able to weather the storm and just execute. Coach has been talking about a big part of that execution. But yeah, just being able to execute, especially on both sides of the ball, is a big key to that. Especially when it gets to the second half, because it's more about, all right, you didn't play free the first half. Now it's down to going your yard, getting stops, and then executing on offense end.
Winning run in the second half is obviously what mostly made the game, kind of getting you guys lost. What do you think went wrong to start that second half?
I feel like it was really executing on the skip passes once we was trapping. So really just trying to make minor adjustments as well. Just try to keep up the pressure that we did have in the first half and try to bring that over in the second half. So, I mean, they got a little run going. We kind of got down on ourselves, but we really just got to keep that up going into Saturday.
Right. I do want to ask, especially as like a senior and one of the older guys on the team, how do you there were a lot of little things that kind of lost you the game, free throw woes, being out rebounded. How do you kind of instill, I guess, morale to the rest of the team as a senior?
Really just reminding them that we work on this every day. We only got a short amount of games left as well with this squad, and realize that we're doing it for each other. We all brothers out here. We all want to compete and win as well. So our end goal in mind is to get to the tournament and win. So just keeping that up, reminding them every day.
Yeah. Similar to that, I mean, you guys made a late run, kind of bringing it in within 5. So going into SEMO, are you guys a little more optimistic? At least you're not going out. At least you have something a little hopeful towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I would say like this game's in the past, so look forward. We got another game coming up quickly as well, just to prepare for it. SEMO's a good team, so I feel like it's gonna be a good matchup, and this is a must win for us. So I feel like we're gonna go out there, execute, and do our thing. We're gonna let this game be.
Right.